Good morning, everyone, and welcome along to today's webinar. It's for Sage 50 Accounts, and we're looking at adding text to your invoice layouts in this session this morning. So we can use that for a whole host of reasons. We've advertised it as adding a festive message to your invoices, but have a bit think as we go through, and I'll give you some maybe other opportunities why you might use that as well. It's a good skill to add because you can easily change that text on your invoices and other documents for that matter as well. The session should last around about 30 minutes. Hopefully during that time we'll have a chance to pick up some questions along the way as well. But just before we get stuck in, just a little bit of housekeeping for those of you that might be new to our webinars. So firstly, you don't need a microphone. If you've got one and you enable it, it will just be muted automatically and you can't unmute yourself. So any questions for us today, you'll need to pop them into the questions panel. You just need to click the little speech bubble icon, which is on the taskbar down the right-hand side of your screen. Give it a click. You'll then have access to that little box in the bottom right-hand corner. Pop in your comments, your questions. Remember to click send as well. I'm sure we've all had them where you've sent a message or you think you have and you think, why haven't I had a response yet? And you've gone back and you haven't actually sent that message. It's sat there waiting. So do click send. We'll try our best to pick them up. We're joined today by Tina. Tina has an extensive knowledge of the report designer as well. So please keep her busy, keep the comments and the questions coming. We'll try and answer as many as we can. We're expecting it to be quite a busy session, just with it being advertised in Sage 50 Accounts at the moment. But we'll try our best. If we can't pick them up during the session, we'll just drop you an email later today. If anyone wants a copy of today's slides, they are available to download during the session today. They are just a copy of the slides. There's not much detailed information on there at all. They are just literally copies of the slides. If you want detailed information, you'll find all of that available from our help center. So step-by-step guides, whether it's text, adding a logo, adding your payment terms, bank details to your invoices, it's all in our help center. I'll show you how to access that a little bit later on. Now, you will also receive an email later today as well. So around about an hour to finish, you'll receive a standard sort of thanks for attending type email. That will include a link to the recording of today's session. So if you need a bit of a recap, you'll have that available. It'll include a link so you can register for our upcoming sessions. So we're running webinars for the rest of this week and next week, and then we take a bit break for Christmas, and then we'll be starting in the new year. So we've currently got our timetable scheduled up to the end of January at the moment. So do have a look, see what's on there, see if there's anything piques your interest. If there is, get yourself registered. If you can't make it, there'll also be a link to our recordings page. So all of our recordings are added to that page afterwards. Not every single recording, as we repeat a lot of the sessions, but there should be one of at least every topic on there. So that will be included on the follow-up email as well. So if you find yourself with a little bit of downtime during Christmas and you're thinking, what can I do? And you want to develop your knowledge, that's a good way of doing that. Right, anyway, we'll get started. As I say, keep your questions coming. We'll try our best to pick them up. So this is what we're going to cover in the half-hour session this morning. If you run over slightly, not a problem. So nice basic agenda for today. Why would we add text? Also covering things like what would we use it for? But then we'll just get stuck into a demonstration. So it's a nice, simple task adding some text. But we'll try and show you the ins and outs, because going into the report designer can be a little bit daunting if you've never used it before. So we'll just run through some nice basic demonstrations there, try and sort of repeat that a few times just to try and ingrain that process in your head a little bit. And then just once we've finished, we'll explain more about the additional support, give you an idea of some of those webinars we've got coming up as well. And if you are wanting to develop your knowledge specifically in the report design area, we've got loads of recordings available on various aspects of that. And then also we'll open up to questions as well. So I'll be supporting those as well. We'll try and pick some up through as we go. But if there's any outstanding, we'll hang around and try and answer as many as we can. Right, let's get stuck in though. So adding text to your invoices. So first of all, why are you gonna add text? What have you maybe thought of since you registered for the webinar? Even if it was just this morning, a few of you have just registered this morning. What have you thought of since? What do you need to put on your invoice? What would you like to include on there? It can be used for a whole host of purposes. It's a quick task. So things like adding a festive greeting. So this time of year, just maybe popping a message along the bottom of your invoices, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, that type of thing. Maybe details of special offers. I think everyone associates Christmas with, if you're in a retail environment, sort of those Christmas sales, maybe those January sales as well, if you've got special offers on, or the product ranges that you need to shift. So you're going to offer discounts in January on certain products, or the new product ranges, and maybe you just want to promote some services that you offer. You might want to include your bank details, just so your customers can pay you online. Saves them picking up the phone and saying, oh, can I have your bank details? I'll make your payment online for that invoice. Just provide it by default. But also your payment terms. So loads of things that you could do. And what I would encourage you to do as well is when you're invoiced by one of your suppliers, maybe compare your invoice to theirs. Is there any information that they provide on theirs that actually you don't include that type of information, such as contact details, opening, closing times, maybe website addresses? So adding text has many, many uses. And obviously by adding it to your layout just means it's going to automatically be included when you print or email your documents. So we're going to be looking at an invoice layout today. It's where most people start with the report designer, but that could be included on things like sales orders, quotations, purchase orders, remittance advices even, as well as your invoices and customer statements. So easy to amend, and once you've done it once or twice, you probably find it's really easy and probably something that you will change from time to time. Now, I have included a link to the report design area of our help center. That's really easy to find. We'll come on to that one towards the end of the session. But for now, we'll get stuck in to some demonstrations. So I'll share my screen. Today I'm going to be using it's the professional version of Sage 50 accounts, and it's actually version 31. So version 31 has only been out for about 2 weeks now. So it's available to download from our help center. You'll be hearing more about that, and you'll probably receive your emails and automated messages, etc., in your software coming into 2025. But it is there if anyone wants that. You'll actually not notice really anything any different in your software. Version 31, it's all about paving the way for connected services coming in 2025. So getting you on the latest version, the latest technology, etc. If you want to sign up for a webinar, again, that's available from our webinars registration page, just so you can see what is going to be available to you. But the process of what we're going through today, adding a bit of text to an invoice layout, pretty much the same, irrespective of what level of the software or even which version of the software you're on. Now, to add a bit of text, all we're going to do is we're going to concentrate on an invoice layout. So if we pop into invoices and credits, and you've got to have at least one invoice or credit note entered to be able to follow this process through. If you're just brand new to Sage, then enter a dummy one. You can always delete it afterwards. But we're just going to highlight one that's on the list. Doesn't really matter what it's for. I just need to highlight one. Then the print option will become active. If you've got nothing selected, you'll see the print option at the top. It's just grayed out. So make sure you select something. And then we're just going to click print at the top. Now that takes us into the favorites folder by default. Obviously, if you've got something flagged, it would be listed. We're just going to go into the layouts folder on the left. And then it's just a case of choosing your layout. Now you've got filter options. If you're on version 31, it's going to be over here on the right-hand side. Previously, it used to be on the toolbar at the top. And it just means you can filter. So if you're looking for an 11-inch layout, or it's specifically an A4 layout, so I'm going to use a one that's designed to be printed on plain paper and can be emailed as well. So we'll just select that and it'll filter my list a little bit. This is the one I'm going to be using today. So it's an A4 invoice credit without discount, plain paper, print or email. Obviously it's the same process no matter which layout you select. So we're just going to highlight that one on the list, and then I'm going to click Edit at the top. Now that takes us into the Report Designer. Now, if you've not used Report Designer before, there's loads of great webinar recordings from myself and Tina where we've run them in the past. They're all available on the recordings list. There's loads of great information in our help center as well, which will guide you through that process. Something very different from dealing with just sort of debits and credits and bank payments, etc., in your main software. So it can be a little bit daunting when you first come in. Now, what we want to do is we want to add that little bit of text. Now, just to quickly run through the layout, just for those of you that have never touched Report Designer before, we've got our sort of what we would term our header section. So if you think about the sort of the top section of an invoice, you would have your company name and address. You might have an area where you pop in your company logo. You might have trade logos and things like that as well. You've got an area where it would print your customer's name and address, and you're going to have things like your invoice number, dates, etc. If we come down, you can see the main body of the invoice. Now, what I would normally recommend is if you're wanting to design your own invoice layout, as you can see, the middle section of an invoice in the design within Report Designer, very complex. So if you've never touched it before, I would always recommend that what you do is you find a layout that's closest to what you want, and then you make changes to that. Very rarely would I ever say, right, recommend you design your own. Find one that's close to what you want, then make any changes. Coming down to the bottom of the layout, we've got our section where, again, think of your printed invoice or one that you would email. You're going to have your totals on there. You might have things like delivery information. And in this case, this layout includes payment terms. Now, there's a nice gap here at the bottom as well, where I'm going to put my festive message in there. Now, it's the same no matter where you want to insert that text. It's going to be the same process. To get things started, what I'm going to do, if I just minimize this for a moment, and what I want is on my desktop, I've created a little text message. So a bit of text. My typing's not the best, so I've pre-prepared this little bit of text. So we're just going to add some text. We'd like to wish all of our customers a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We look forward to working with you in 2025. So I'm just going to highlight that and right-click and copy it. And then if we go back to the Report Designer, we want to insert this bit of text down here. Now, to do that, what we need to do is we need to go back to the toolbar at the top. Now, on the toolbar at the top, we've got this, what we term the basic toolbar. So you've got functions on here for things like adding text. You've got some drawing options for lines, boxes. You can add your image or logo, add data fields, that type of thing. Now, if you can't see that, all you need to do is right-click on a blank part of your toolbar at the top, and then you'll have Toolbox Basic listed. Now, I'll just switch it off. So if you don't have it, this is what yours will be like. So just right-click, choose Toolbox Basic, and it'll switch it back on for you. If you don't want it to be there, because obviously it takes up a little bit of space, you can just go to the Toolbox menu. So Toolbox, and again, you'll have the similar options, including the Add Text option, which is what we're going to use today. So if I just click Add Text, and then move the mouse pointer roughly to where I want to insert that bit of text, and just click with the mouse. And then what I'll do, if I just paste in, so I just right-clicked in the box, paste it in the text. Nope, do that one again. So we'll just add text, click into it, and then paste in. So it doesn't look very good just yet. Obviously, it puts it in a great big long line. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to format it a little bit. Now, if I was just happy with that, and let's face it, I'm not going to be, I can move it around. So if I just drag it with the mouse, it doesn't look very good so far. So I can start formatting it, etc. as well. Now, if I was happy, I could just click off it, and that will be it done. Now that could be, again, that could be any text at all, whether it's your festive message or something else. But let's say I want to amend it. I want to make it look a bit more Christmassy. So I'm going to say the color of Christmas is red. So I'm going to change the color, I'm going to change the font size, etc. Now, just to keep it a little bit consistent with the rest of the text, etc., that's appearing on my layout, what I'll do is I'll just click onto this carriage thing, and I can see it's got a style of header 2 attached to it. I'll click on a different one. This one says it's header 1. So actually, I'm going to make it the same as this text here, payment due. So I want it to be this, use the style header 1. So if I click back to my text, and I'm going to choose header 1 from the drop down, and it'll put it into the right format for me. So it uses the same font, the same size, etc. What I'm also going to do is I'm just going to click into the box, and I'm just going to press return at that point to wrap that down. So I'm starting to work on the alignment, etc. at this point. Now, if you notice you've made a mistake, for instance, I can just double click in the box as well. I'll get a flashing cursor. So I can then, maybe I want to change the text. Question from there from Andrea. Tina's picking that up, but we can just type in that text if you want to. I wanted to paste it in because my typing is not very quick, not very accurate either. So I'm happy with that. And all I want to do, I'm going to put it in bold as well. Now, if you've got a style attached and you change anything like a font size, a style, bold, italics, underline, overline, etc., you will get this message. Do you wish to update the header 1 style with the new font? And I'm going to choose no to that. I don't want it to affect anything else on my layout. I just want it to impact this text at the bottom. Now, with that still selected, what I'll do is I'm going to change the color as well. So I'm going to say red is my chosen color this time round. And then when I click off it, you can see it's now in bold. It's got a similar size and font to the text that says payment due. And I'm quite happy with that. The other thing I'll also do though is if I click onto the box, I'm going to center it. So it'll center it within the box itself. And then again, if I click onto it, I can either drag it with the mouse to get it into position, or if you find that you're not very accurate with your mouse, what you can do is with it selected, so you know it's selected, it's got the box around it, it's got the little buttons on the box. With it selected like that, I can just use the cursor keys just to sort of nudge it into position to get it exactly where I want it to be. Now, if you want to get back to sort of the 80s and stuff like that, where when people use clip art, you could add things like an image as well. You might have some clip art, etc., that you want to use, but we're just going to leave it at that. So a nice simple message at the bottom. It's formatted how we want it, and that's it done. Now, what I'm going to do at that point, I do have the option of previewing that. So I just click preview on the toolbar at the bottom there. And then that's going to show me what one of my invoices looks like using the layout we've selected. And if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see it's going to include that text. Now on that toolbar along the bottom, if I just switch back to designer mode, it takes me back to report designer so we can see the design of that. So we'll just scroll back down. So we're happy with that. What I'll also do is we'll cover some basics as well. Now, the default layouts and reports within your Sage software, essentially, they're going to be read-only, so they're protected, which means that if I go to the File menu at the top, the Save option is grayed out, so I can't overwrite the default layout, but I can do a Save As. Now, if I click Save As and give it a new file name, I'll just use my initials and we'll put what should I put? I'll just put Embassy Xmas there. Couldn't think what to type there, so we'll just use that. And I'll click Save. And that's it done. If I then close out of the layout, and you'll see it's on the list there, the last one on the list there. And to save me having to look for that every time, what I can do is I can flag it as a favorite. So click on the little star. And what that does, by flagging it as a favorite, what it means is when I first come into the print option, because it defaults to that favorites folder on the left, and this one is flagged as a favorite, it lists it. I haven't got to go searching for it. So I haven't got to go into my layouts list and then think, right, well, I'm on this list, which is the one I use? We've got it flagged, so it makes it nice and easy to find. If you want to change the name and the description, once you've done that save as, I can right click and we can change the name and the description. You can do that within the report designer, but once you've done that file save as, you can just right click on your layout and change that name. Call it whatever I want at this point. So I'll just call it Michael's invoice layouts. And in the description, I'm going to put includes Xmas message. And we'll just OK that. Obviously, it just takes a few seconds to update. And again, it means it personalizes that. I can easily see that. And that's it done. It's that easy to do it. So just quickly recapping on those steps. We went into invoices and credits. We selected an invoice just to activate the print option, essentially. So we click print, find our layout. As you can see, nice and easy now because it's flagged as a favorite. So find the layout that you want to amend. We highlight it, click edit at the top. It opens the design of that layout within the report designer. Find the area where you want to insert your text. So mine was at the bottom. And then all we did was we click add text. I'll just quickly do that one again. And then you move your mouse to approximately where you want to insert that text. You'll get that sort of bold cross at that point. We clicked, and then at that point, we can just start typing whatever we want at that point. So I'll just type in loads of gobbledygook there. Or, as I've done, I've pasted a little bit of text in. And then it's just a case of positioning it and also formatting it as well to get it the way you want. But what it does mean as well, once you've learned that, is that, let's say you come back in January and you think, right, time to remove that. It's as easy as editing your layout, clicking on it, and then all I would do is I would just press delete on the keyboard, it's gone. Or that's where we can start amending the text. So if I wanted to amend the text, I would just select the text box, double click it, and you can see I get that flashing cursor at that point. So I can change it to whatever I want at that point. Again, I can start typing. I can change formats, fonts, sizes, positioning, etc. So have a go of that and you get a chance. I'll just delete that box. So we're back to where we started at the beginning of the session. Any additional questions at that point? Now, if you want to find out things like adding a logo, for instance, again, really simple. I'll quickly cover that one because that's probably quite a related question, that one. So just on the toolbar at the top, add image stroke logo, just give it a click, move your mouse to roughly where you want to insert your company logo, for instance, and then we just click accept the default option, okay that, and then it's just a case of you browsing for your logo. So we'll choose this one that I've designed myself. We'll just open that one. It'll insert that really small, just a case of resizing that. And then again, similar, we can drag that into position. You can see I'm not a designer, but at least it's spelled right today. All right. Again, any questions, keep them coming. We've still got Tina on hand. We'll try and maybe pick up a few of those in just a moment. But that's the basics of working in the report designer. There's loads of great webinar recordings available should you want to develop your knowledge even further. Right, let's quickly pop back to the slides. So questions, if you weren't quite with us at the beginning of the session, all you need to do, click the little speech bubble icon. You can then start typing in that box in the bottom right-hand corner. Remember to click send. We'll try and pick those up as best we can. Our Help Center, great source of information for you for support with your software. You can search that. Obviously, there's options to try and guide you through. There's a reports and layout section within there as well. I've included that link at the bottom there if you've downloaded the slides. But you'll find support guides, so that step-by-step guide on how to complete certain tasks. There's webinars in there, recordings, you'll be able to book onto live webinars. There's videos which will guide you through certain processes. And if you can't find what you're after, it'll prompt you with options for getting in touch with our support team. Some of the webinars we've got booked in for this week and next. So I mentioned version 31, that's what I've been using in today's session. So if you want to find out more about that one, get yourself registered. We've still got batch changes, global changes. We've got 3 sessions on the VAT return next week, a session on year end, and there's many, many more as well. We've got January booked in. So again, have a good look through the timetable and see what's there. For the report designer, we've got loads of recordings available, whether it's adding a logo, adding email addresses, payment terms, the add text such as bank details to your layout. That's essentially what we cover today. There is a session for festive messaging using the letters option, groups and sections, personalizing your layouts, and options for helping you to understand your customer statements as well. But have a good look through there. Loads of recordings. They're available on demand. Just click to play. Links will be included on your follow-up email as usual. Just while I give you a chance to pop in your final questions, if you have any, let me take the opportunity to thank you for coming along today. I hope you have enjoyed it. It's one of our shorter sessions, so short and sharp this one. There'll be a little survey pop up as you leave today's session. If you can take a minute to complete that, we greatly appreciate it. It's all we ask. The webinars are completely free to attend. We hope you enjoy them. But if you've got any thoughts, ideas, if you want to just give us a score, please take a minute to complete that survey. We love reading your comments. If there's anything you'd like to see us cover going forwards, let us know. Your follow-up email will be with you in round about an hour's time as well. So again, watch out for that one. Always the same links as well to our registration page and our recordings. So keep them handy. And again, get yourself registered. Any final questions? I think Tina's just about covered them all. So we haven't got anything outstanding at the moment. I'll just give you about another 30 seconds or so, just in case anyone's frantically keying in, or if you type at my speed, I might have to give you another 5 minutes. So any questions, pop them in there. Remember, if you think of anything afterwards as well, Help Centre's great. Our support team's available as well, should you maybe need a little bit of extra help. Right, if there aren't any questions then, a quick question from Stephanie there. Are statements just as easy to edit? Let me quickly show you. So just to reassure everyone, what we've looked at today, obviously we've concentrated on an invoice layout. So if I pop into customers as an example, and I'll just select one customer, pop into statements, find your layout, whichever one is the one that you use. So let's just say it's this one. And all I would do is I would highlight the layout, click edit, takes me into the report designer. Obviously, it's going to have different information included. The main bodies are a little less complicated than what it shows for an invoice, but pretty much exactly the same. If I wanted to pop some text in there, etc., I can do that. So again, a little section at the bottom there, or you never know, you might want to put it at the top. But again, have a good look at your documents statement when you receive it from your supplier, maybe a remittance from your customer, an invoice from your supplier. Is there any information included on theirs that you think, actually, we don't include that type of information. So things like contact details, opening closing times, so your availability over the Christmas period. Is it beneficial to include that? Is your telephone number included? So have a good look, see if there's anything missing. Then if you need to, it's nice and easy to make amends. But again, we can add text in exactly the same way. Right, okay, many thanks for your time today. Again, get yourself registered. When you receive your follow-up email, use that link, and hopefully we'll see you on some of those sessions soon. We'll end the webinar just at that point. I think Tina's just quickly picking up that final comment. But other than that, hopefully we'll see you on some other webinars soon. Many thanks.